Greetings fans, friends, and family. Your Crafty Diva Cat here with another in my Amigurumi Animals series. So, some people have asked me, working on so many amigurumis, what is your absolute favorite that you've done? And without a doubt, my number one favorite is this little guy called Crabby the Crab. He is ridiculously cute. I love his face, I love his eyes, and I love his little pincers. So cute. And this one, believe it or not, is not from one of the big name sites. It's not from Red Heart or Lion. It's from an independent blogger. And the pattern's a little difficult to follow. If you're new to crochet or new to amigurumi, you might have a little trouble with this. The stitches are fairly simple and straightforward, but the pattern is written by a non-professional pattern writer, and I suppose I could call myself one of those for the patterns I've written. It just doesn't read terribly smoothly, and there are a couple of places where I had to pull out work and redo them because it was slightly unclear, in particular when making the ends of the little pincers. So if you make this one, pay super careful attention when you're working on the ends of those pincers, because there's some very specific information on there that's very difficult to follow. However, this is presented in both symbol form and in written form. Personally, I often quite prefer working in symbol form to working from written instructions. You see it more often in flat crochet work like doilies or intricate filet crochet patterns and things of that nature. You'll see it done completely in symbols. I've often done shawl patterns that were completely in symbols, things like that. Don't often see it in three-dimensional pieces, but it can help you follow when things get a little bit iffy or a little bit tricky or you're not quite sure what the person is saying. Take a look at the symbols area and you might be able to figure it out from that. So this little guy is worked up like the others in worsted weight acrylic. He is done in orange and white with a little bit of black embroidery on the eyes and the smile. Now I did find when putting him together that I sort of ran out of room. You can't sew evenly and this drives me crazy because I can be a bit of a perfectionist about this sort of thing. The legs and the pincers and the eyes. You just can't. There's not enough room on his body to sew them perfectly evenly in a line. There's just not enough space to stitch them on. So if you're a bit of a perfectionist like me, pin them on first, try it a couple of different ways, and you'll find that you'll get a spot that works for you. Like I have one eye just a little bit ahead of the other eye, if you can see on this side, and some of the limbs, these are a little bit behind the pincers are, but they can be pushed forward, so that works okay for me. But the only way you're going to be able to fit it all in is if you don't align it up evenly. Otherwise, it's going to go, the first time I pinned it on counting stitches and making everything perfect and even, it went all the way to the bottom, and if you do that, he's not going to sit down. As it is, he doesn't sit down very evenly. He sort of has to lean. He does okay if it's just under his body. So he's a lot of fun, but the pattern can be a little bit tricky. Still, I think he's cute enough to muddle through and work on it. If I hadn't had to pull out stitches in a couple places, he probably would have only taken me about 3.5 hours or so, including sewing all the pieces on and embroidering the face. But because I had to pull out stitches and take some time, it probably took closer to 4.5–5 hours total to make. So bear that in mind when you start him, that you might think he isn't going to take very long. He's small, but he's a little bit tricky. So he's going to take a little bit of extra work, or at least extra concentration when you're putting him together. So that's Crabby the Crab. You'll find the link to the pattern in the information below this video, as well as a link to where you can pin the pattern on Pinterest. And for more tips, tricks, techniques, and pattern reviews regarding crochet and other crafts, check out Crafty Diva Cat on Facebook and Twitter, and also find me on Pinterest with the link below. As always, thanks for watching and happy crafting.